Hello folks, today we are going to talk about the LUMIX GH7 and it's finally out and it's set to be shipping I think this summer. And today we are going to talk about why I'm so excited about this camera, or better, why this camera excites me so much. Because every time that LUMIX releases a new camera, it builds up to another camera that I'm going to talk about later on, and that's the camera I'm the most excited about. But let's talk first about this one. So this one will come basically with the 5.7K ProRes RAW. So finally, LUMIX is starting to implement the internal recordings from ProRes RAW. And this can be recorded only through USB-C or through the CFX Type B that it comes with the GH7. So that's really a huge, cool thing. B-RAW, we will ask because I'm a DaVinci Resolve user and editor and color grader, and unfortunately, as for now, that will not be available, but they don't mention, or nobody has mentioned anything about B-RAW. So I hope that B-RAW will come into this camera later on down the line, because it's gonna start shipping anyway in summer or end of summer, but anyway, but that it comes with it, or that we will have a firmware update at least later on internal recording B-RAW, because it will be so cool if they do something like the Fuji X2H where you can record internally B-RAW and ProRes RAW at the same time. Of course not at the same time, but you have the possibility to record or B-RAW or ProRes RAW. So that's really amazing. So finger crossed they are able to license something like that and do something like that, because that will be really, really, really cool. The other thing is the LUMIX Lab app integration. So as for now, only Android users can use the app on the phones. I am an iOS user, but later on you will have the possibility of recording in iOS. In another video, I will talk more specifically about this app and things that I came up and I figured out about this app, but that will be for another video, not this one. And the next feature is basically this new module, which is the XLR Type 2. I have the Type 1. I'm gonna sell it and buy the Type 2 because it has 32-bit float. And it's amazing, right? Because it kind of saves you a lot of issues that you used to have with the first one, because you will not have that kind of problems with the levels of the audio, or better, you will have, but you will have more room because it has way more dynamic range compared to a 24 bit or all the other bits. So it's really, really cool that they come with that. And the amazing thing is that it comes with a 3mm jack. So basically that will be your whole module of recording. So you would just plug all the cords in there. But there is a quirk. Because that means you can't use the 3mm jack in your camera. Imagine not having 4 tracks but having 6 tracks in your camera. Or better, you can use it, but the thing is that when you actually activate the 3mm jack in your camera, it automatically disconnects the 32-bit float in the whole module. So which means that you can literally use all the connection you have available between the module 2 and the camera 3mm jack, but you cannot record in 32-bit float. So everything, it's amazing, and that's why I started talking about this module, because this means that we might actually receive a firmware update in the whole maybe lineup of the LUMIX cameras, because it's not dependent on the type of hot shoe you have on your camera. It looks like it's going to be basically this module is basically the whole processing unit, and it's quite amazing that we can receive something like that, because that means that the whole lineup of cameras are not useless anymore, and every camera from Lumix that has a hot shoe will be able to use this module. So chapeau, Lumix, well done. The other thing that it makes me so excited about this camera, it looks like they have fixed the HDMI latency issue. Not really fixed, but at least it's 40% faster according to general undone testing. So that's really good. That means they are aware of it and they are working on it to make it better. And that's amazing. And another improvement they have done in this camera is the face detect autofocus system is or might be the same as the G9 Mark II, but there are a few more tracking modes. There is like the airplane mode, and there is like how the airplane is facing frontal or like in I don't know how you call this, but if it's like on the flat way. And then there is, I think, in the car the same, like if it's like frontal, or there is like sideways, yes, or sideways. So it's quite cool. There are some kind of improvements that they are trying to bring on. So I'm quite excited about that, and I don't care if it comes into the X5 Mark II X or whatever, but if there is some kind of little improvement they have done there for the autofocusing, cool, who cares? It's always cool to have some improvements, even though I think now it's really amazing. Keep looking at myself there and I keep tracking me, so it's quite amazing. And there is another really cool thing. So Lumix and ARRI has partnered, and they have created a partnership where basically now you will be able to have the ARRI Log C3 only in the GH7 at the moment, where you'll be able to match perfectly with ARRI cameras, but it comes with a cost. So there is a key called DMW SFU3A that you will need to buy for $200, and in euros I believe it's like 190 maybe, something like that. At the moment we don't know the euro price, but you will need to buy it, and you will be able to use them only if you're shooting in ProRes 422, ProRes 422 HQ, and in OI Intra codecs. So it's quite cool that Lumix is kind of creating this partnership group slowly with other manufacturers. And the price of this camera is going to be $2,200. Basically a price of a Lumix S5 Mark II X, and it goes to compete with the Lumix S5 Mark II. It is a little bit on the higher side, I have to say, but if you look what they feature packed into this camera with the 4K up to 120, HD up to 280 I believe is, or 240. It doesn't look great in low light, but it's still there, you can use it. And open gate and all that sweetness and beauty that the GH lineup brings. And this sensor is super good because it renders amazingly high lights and is backside illuminated too. So there is a lot there, but if you still shoot Micro Four Third, this camera is way worth it because it has a better implementation for video, an amazing body that I wished they would have when designed basically all of this new lineup of Lumix S lineup of cameras. They will have just used the GH lineup of bodies, so they will have all the same body but different amount of sensors. because that fan, that tilt 4-axis screen is just amazing, and I really hope that they will have implemented in all of their cameras. It will have been a step up from all the other ones, but I can understand. But now let's talk about why this excited me so much, because all of this builds to the S2H or S1H Mark II. That means that if this camera has all of these features, imagine what the S2H or S12 from now on I will just refer it as S2H, so I don't need to blabber anymore. So the S2H is gonna have amazing specs. Imagine that it might have internal ProRes RAW and internal B-RAW. Imagine all the sweetness that this camera can have, 4K 120, Beauty 120, and 1080p up to 300 or so ever. So it's amazing. Every camera that Lumix is coming out with, and firmware update that Lumix is coming up with, is just making their cameras better and better and better. Let's take the S9 out of this category. I know all of us have our own point of view on this, but it's making the camera so better and better. Any firmware update feels like the camera is becoming a new camera. So imagine what is coming the end of this summer, because we know the S1H Mark II or the S2H is behind the corner. And if it's gonna have all of this, plus the full frame sensor, plus all the sweetness that we know that the S1H lineup have, well, there is only one, so not lineup, but we understand what I mean. I can't wait. I'm already saving up money for that camera, and Samyang just basically released the 35 to 105 to 2.8, and I already pre-ordered it. I'm gonna talk about it when I receive it, because it will start shipping I think in August. Lumix is making great steps forward, and I'm really happy to be a Lumix shooter in this day and age. Well done, Lumix. I can't wait to see what you will come up, even with your next cinema camera, because we know that that one is coming too, and we will talk about that in another video. But thank you guys for sticking here with me for, wow, it was long. Please share a comment down below. Let me know what you think about what I said, and let's have a chat down below. Are you gonna buy the GH7? Personally, I'm not a Micro Four Thirds shooter, so I'm not going to most probably buy it, but I will love to test it. But thank you for watching the video. Thank you for supporting me every time, who has been a long time subscriber. Take good care of yourself. I'm gonna see you in the next one.